Hey, good morning and welcome to this Hawaii State Senate Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, 9:30 a.m. decision-making hearing in conference room 229 at the Hawaii State Capitol. We're here to make recommendations on three measures that were heard in a prior committee hearing. The first is SB 588 SD1. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments. Will defect the effective date of this measure to July 1, 2050 to foster further discussion on this measure and keep the bill moving. There are also some technical substantive, non-substantive amendments to be made throughout the measure. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey?
Yes.
Senator Richards?
Yes.
Senator Awa?
Aye.
Measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The next two measures on this agenda, SB 1449 SD1 and SB 1281 SD1, we are going to defer decision-making on for one day and reconvene here tomorrow in room 229, Wednesday, February 26, 2025 at 9:31 a.m. Hopefully have some proposed amendments to recommend to the committee. The intention is to move both of these measures, but we wanted to take one more look at it. And so that's the 9:30 agenda. We're adjourned. Hey, good morning and welcome. This is our Hawaii State Senate Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, 9:32 a.m. Decision-making hearing in conference room 229 at the Hawaii State Capitol. We are making recommendations on four measures that were previously heard in their respective subject matter committees. We've received written testimony on the measures and are prepared to vote. The first measure is SB 1245 SD1 relating to pharmacists. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments. We will adopt a Board of Pharmacy's requested amendment changing the implementation date to July 1, 2026. We will keep the defective effective date on this measure. We will adopt the proposed amendments from the Department of Human Services and the proposed amendments from Walgreens. And there are technical non-substantive amendments throughout the measure. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey?
Yes.
Senator Richards?
Aye.
Senator Awa?
Aye.
Measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The next measure is SB 1286 SD1 relating to motor vehicles. Members, there was no supporting testimony on this measure. I would note the Office of Consumer Protection would like to work on it with the introducer. So we will defer this measure indefinitely and try and take it up next year. Next measure is SB 1287 relating to transparency. The recommendation is to pass with amendments, adopting the proposed amendments of the Office of Consumer Protection. There are technical non-substantive amendments also to be made, and I'll note there's already a defective effective date on this measure. Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations or objections? Hearing none, measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next measure, last measure on this 9:32 a.m. agenda is SB 1298 SD1 relating to recycling. The recommendation on this measure is to keep the measure going and continue the discussion. We'll defect the effective date of this measure to July 1, 2050 and make technical non-substantive amendments. Members, any discussion? Okay, if none, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations or objections?
No.
Thank you. Measure is adopted.
Okay, we're adjourned. Good morning and welcome. This is the Hawaii State Senate Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection. This is our Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, 9:34 a.m. committee hearing in conference room 229 at the Hawaii State Capitol. We are taking testimony on three measures that were single referred to the Consumer Protection Committee. The first is SB 419 relating to insurance. This measure requires each motor vehicle insurance policy to cover the replacement cost of a child passenger restraint system damaged during a collision for which liability coverage under the policy is applicable. Attorney General's office with comments. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Andrew Kuhn, Deputy Attorney General. We provide our written comments, suggesting a clause to protect against possible contract impairment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we also have late testimony from April Bautista in support. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay, the next measure is SB 942 relating to rental applications. This measure prohibits landlords from rejecting a rental application solely due to an applicant's inability to provide a recent paycheck, provided that the applicant can provide evidence of sufficient liquid assets or unearned income to cover the rental costs. James Nelson in support.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. I'm James Nelson in support of this measure. Thank you for hearing us. I know this is a very busy week for you. I will stand on my testimony in support. I did look briefly at the Realtors Association amendments that they provided in their testimony. I'm not entirely sure that they're necessary because the whole idea of this is to just let applicants for rentals produce what they have in terms of financial information and let landlords ask for something other than paychecks. So I don't think this is some widespread pernicious conspiracy against retirees, but the situation kind of does trap people occasionally that have assets that don't come in the form of monthly earned income. So I appreciate your support. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Realtors with comments.
I'm just going to stand, but just to clarify, aloha, Lindsay Garcia with the Hawaii Realtors. Good morning, everyone. So the committee is inclined to pass the measure. We offered some friendly amendments just because as licensees, we have a fiduciary duty to our client to ensure that rent can be made. And so that's why we provided these clarifying amendments to ensure that we can uphold that fiduciary duty. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have late testimony from Veronica Moore in support, Michael Older in support, and April Bautista in support. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay, we'll move to the last measure on the agenda, SB 1142, relating to insurance proceeds. This measure requires mortgage services to comply with certain requirements regarding the disbursement of insurance proceeds from residential real estate that has been destroyed or damaged. DCCA, Division of Financial Institutions with comments. Good morning.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Dwight Young, Commissioner of Financial Institutions. We stand on our written testimony. I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement and Support. Good morning.
Good morning, aloha kakahiaka. Madeline McKegg here on behalf of the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, standing on our written testimony in support of this measure. Just wanting to emphasize that at CNHA's Recovery Center, we have seen firsthand how difficult the insurance proceeds have been. It's been incredibly difficult, even with a care worker, but almost impossible without one. I think this measure is one of many critical ones this session that can have us learn from the lessons. This wasn't the first disaster, and it's certainly not going to be the last. And we urge you to pass this measure. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. We have testimony and support from Robert Hugh Jocelyn, President of Hawaii Public Adjusters, Lahaina Strong in support, and late testimony and support from the Mortgage Bankers Association of Hawaii. And 23 other individuals submitting testimony, all in support. Members, oh, is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay.
Chair, you have somebody on the Zoom. So that's when.
Oh, that's
That's the light.
Mr. Young from the DCCA. Okay. If there are no questions, then are we prepared to move into decision-making? Okay, so for the first measure, SB 419, relating to insurance, the recommendation is to pass with amendments, adopting the Attorney General's proposed amendments. There are technical, non-substantive amendments throughout, and will affect the effective date of the measure to July 1, 2050. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair, passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, are there any voting with reservations or objections? Hearing none, measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Next measure is SB 942, relating to rental applications. The recommendation is to pass with amendments, adopting the Realtor's proposed amendments, and affecting the effective date of the measure to July 1, 2050. Vice Chair.
Okay, I do have some reservations on the Realtors amendments, particularly since many of the retirees and elders that we have in our community who are facing a lot of the insurance premium challenges may not necessarily, have assets, or may not necessarily have evidence of recent paychecks. And I think that's kind of an unnecessary burden in many of those instances. So I'll be voting with reservations.
So noted. Any other comments or questions?
Retirement pay would be considered paycheck.
I don't know. We can
We
check.
got the effective dates we talked.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
If there are no other comments or hard unanswerable questions in the decision-making,
Don't want to be.
the recommendation is to pass with amendments, and the chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair votes with reservations. All other members, any reservations, objections? Hearing none, measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The last measure is SB 1142, relating to insurance proceeds. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments, adopting technical, non-substantive amendments, and will affect the effective date
Sure.
to July 1, 2050. Senator Richards.
Yeah, before we go there, there were some comments from the AG about language. Is that stuff can be worked on later?
This is on 1142.
No, I don't think it's 419.
Yeah, 1142. You're talking about language in 1366 and 1047. I assume it's got a defective date. Right?
It does have a
Okay.
defective date. So the recommendation would be to, it's from the DCCA.
Oh, DCCA. Okay.
Yeah, the DCCA testimony does note that they have preferred language in another measure. And so the recommendation is to keep this vehicle moving with a defective date.
Got it.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Okay, passing with amendments, chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations or objections? Hearing none, measure is adopted.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.